Good morning everyone, my name is Phawini Pokrathok from Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi, Thailand. I would like to present development of a topical gel containing a dipeptidyl peptidase-4 inhibitor for wound healing applications. This thesis is a collaboration between Faculty of Chemical Engineering of Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi and Faculty of Medicine, Salient Hospital. This presentation is divided into 5 parts: introduction, objectives, methodology, results and discussion, and conclusion. Let's begin with introduction. Definition of wound is disruption of the integrity of skin, mucous membrane, or organ tissue. The wound is classified as acute wound and chronic wound according to the duration and nature of healing process. Acute wounds result from unexpected accidents or surgical injuries and heal at a predictable time. On the other hand, chronic wounds, which are mainly resulted from burns, diabetic ulcer, and leg ulcer, do not heal in a fixed period of time. Chronic wounds remain a major challenge in healthcare around the world and have significant financial implications. Therefore, the development of wound management devices has been studied. Carbopol is one of hydrogel which has been extensively utilized as a primary medication carrier for transdermal usage. It has the advantage of high viscosity, high compatibility with other drugs, good thermal stability, and excellent tissue compatibilities. Currently, carbopol is used as a gel base in many wound healing gel. Therefore, 0.5% carbopol start to be used to form a gel. Sitagliptin is one of dipeptidyl peptidase-4 inhibitors, which is widely used for patients with type 2 diabetes due to their effectiveness in controlling blood sugar level. Sitagliptin not only maintains the homeostasis of the blood sugar levels, but also has wound healing effects according to long study. Therefore, sitagliptin, which is the selected DPP-4 inhibitor, was studied. Mathematical modeling in drug delivery helps to understand the release behavior and predict the mechanism of drug release of complex pharmaceutical dosages. There are 4 kinetic models which used to describe the overall release of drug from the polymer in this study, including zero order, first order, Hikuchi, and Cosmel papers. Next part is objectives. First, to demonstrate characterizations of a topical gel. Second, to determine the in vitro release of sitagliptin from carbopol. Third, to develop a mathematical model to predict the cumulative release of sitagliptin from carbopol. Fourth, to demonstrate stability of sitagliptin in carbopol. And finally, to demonstrate applications of the gel onto subcutaneous wounds on experimental pigs. Next part is methodology. The first part is gel preparation. Sitagliptin and carbopol were dissolved in water, then stirred until a homogenized gel formulation was obtained. After that, triethanolamine was added to neutralize the pH. Physical characteristics were studied by visual observations and rheometer. Next part is rolling and degradation. The surface of the topical gel was incubated. Then the surface medium was discarded and the weight of the remaining gel was recorded in each time point. Fresh water was added to the vial before placing it back into the incubator. Next part is in vitro drug release study. A topical gel containing free concentrations of sitagliptin were incubated with phosphate buffered saline at pH 7.4 and 37 degrees Celsius to simulate wounds using dialysis tubing. The absorbance of the collected samples was measured using a UV spectrophotometer. The cumulative release data were fitted to 4 commonly used kinetic models, including zero-order, first-order Higuchi models, and cosmic papers. The coefficient of determination was used to access the fit of the experimental data to the kinetic model equations. Next, stability test. The topical gels in glass vials were kept at 4 degrees Celsius for 1 week, 2 weeks, and 1 month after formulation. The gel was recorded weight, pH, and percent of content, and observed the characteristics of the gel at each time point. Finally, topical gels containing sitagliptin at these concentrations were directly applied to subcutaneous wounds on experimental pigs every other day for 3 weeks to investigate the characteristics and effect of the gel on the skin compared to other types of the gel and cream. Next part is results and discussion. For characteristics of gel results, from figure 4a, the appearance of the gel is clear, transparent, and steady. After 24 hours, the diameter of the gel slightly decreased from the starting point, but greatly decreased at the end, because the gel would be dyed. For figure 4b, the gel clearly dissolved in water after 24 hours, as shown by the increased diameter. However, the gel was still visible. At the end, the gel completely dissolved in water. From figure 5, increase in pH caused an increase in the shear strength of the gel. The shear strength increased as the shear rate increased, indicating shear deadening pseudoplastic behavior. Therefore, the gel could flow easily when the shear force was applied to the gel on the wound, but remained firm when at rest, allowing the gel to stay on the wound for longer periods. The gel could hold its shape when absorbed rather than dissolved into the wound exudate. For swelling and degradation results at the beginning of the incubation, swelling of the topical gel was observed because water diffused into the matrix of carbopol, which is hydrophilic polymer. After that, the polymer network expanded upon relaxation. The swelling kinetic of the gel follows zero-order kinetics with high R-square value. The highest percent swelling of the gel was 250% at 48 hours, which would be sufficient for the hydrogel to absorb wound exudate. After 72 hours, the gel gradually degraded and dissolved in water and then completely degraded at the end, following zero-order kinetics. Next part is in vitro drug release study. The cumulative percentage drug release of sitagliptin increased with increasing concentration due to a higher concentration gradient between the drug and release medium driving more drug molecules into the receiving medium. The topical gel was able to release more than 80% of the initial concentrations. Most of encapsulated drug was released until 8 hours, and then the drug release clearly shows slowed down after 24 hours. All the drug content was not completely released because the equilibrium had probably been reached, resulting in a significantly small amount of drug release, which could be considered as no drug release. The concentration gradient of the drugs was high between 0 and 8 hours, resulting in high diffusion. The model fitting was conducted using the release data between 0 and 8 hours because the drug was mostly released at this time point, and the cumulative percent of sitagliptin released between 8 and 24 hours was not different from the previous data. The cumulative release data were fitted to 4 commonly used kinetic models, as the triple 4, or concentrations of sitagliptin follow the first order model, as indicated by the highest R-square compared to the other models. Therefore, the rate of release depends on the concentration of the drug in the gel. That is, the higher the drug concentration, the faster the release. Next is stability results. According to figure 8, the gel showed clear, transparent, no phase change, and steady, and bubbles have been decreasing at specified time intervals for both gel with and without paraffin. Figure 9b and figure 9c showed weight and pH of the gel for with and without paraffin are comparable, and the results do not change after 1 month, indicating the environment of the gel is stable at 4 degrees Celsius. However, the percentage of the drug content from figure 9a decreased with time, possibly because there is no addition of preservative. Moreover, the gel cannot be kept in solid form, which leads to drug degradation, since solid dosage forms are more stable than liquid dosage for presence of water. The last one is applications of the topical gel in vivo. From figure 10, the topical gel containing sitagliptin has been shown to exhibit the desired spreadability and higher moisture around the wound area compared to intraocular gel and silver nanoparticle cream. However, the topical gel degraded after 2 days, while others still appeared on the wound. The degradation of the topical gel on an actual wound was faster than the degradation result carried out in an in vitro setting. The faster gas degradation rate in vivo might have been caused by the enzymes present in the wounds, leading to the combination of physical degradation and enzymatic degradation. In addition, there was no inflammation or infection around the wound area after applying the topical gel at both concentrations for 21 days, as shown in figure 11. Therefore, a topical gel with sitagliptin is desirable for chronic wound healing. The last part is conclusion. In conclusion, sitagliptin was successfully loaded in carbopol. In terms of characterizations, the topical gel was clear, transparent, uniform, and steady, and exhibited shear thinning pseudoplastic behavior. In addition, the gel could absorb up to 250% of the liquid within 2 days, which is desirable for absorption of exudates. After that, the gel degraded. In the in vitro release assay, the gel was able to release more than 80% of the initial concentrations after 48 hours at all sitagliptin concentrations. The kinetic release of sitagliptin from carbopol was best fitted with the first order model, which was dependent on the concentration of the drugs. For stability tests, the weight and pH of the topical gel were stable at 4 degrees Celsius for more than 1 month, while the drug content slightly decreased, perhaps because of drug degradation. Finally, the gel was applied directly onto subcutaneous wounds on experimental pigs. The topical gel showed the desired spreadability, high moisture compared to others, and degraded after 2 days. Moreover, there was more inflammation around the wound area after 3 weeks. Thank you for your attention.